June 25th, 2007. This is Diehard Gamer Radio, episode 28.
You are approaching the target of attack. Your mission starts now. Are you ready? The countdown begins. 3, 2, 1, go!
You are listening to Diehard Gamer Radio, the source for off-mainstream video game news and topics. And now, your hosts, Murdock, Brian, John, and Steve.
Just a couple more shots.
All right, well, welcome back to Diehard Gamer Radio. I am Murdock, and with me is John, Brian, and Steve.
Not necessarily in that order.
Possibly in that order, though.
Working around the table in an octagonal pattern.
Yes. We entered the square circle. Ninjas enter the dome.
What was that? What was that show?
That was WMAC Masters.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
Ninjas enter the dome.
Well,
it was like Mortal Kombat Live.
It was Mortal Kombat WWF.
You are
Ultimate Fighting, but not.
You're dating yourself. So
yeah, well, no one else will go out with me.
I never watched that. I always watched something cool like Glorious Ladies of Wrestling.
Was that even syndicated?
Yes, it was actually.
Not for very long, apparently. But
No,
I always thought that was like a franchise thing where it was only on UHF channels in local markets.
No, I think it was. I think it was syndicated like Cleopatra 2525.
Well, see, now that was actually syndicated on the same syndication partners that had Xena and Hercules. They just jammed them into the same half hour with Jack of All Trades.
Okay.
Oh, God, Jack of all trades.
I loved that.
Well,
That was
that
the
show.
only corny one I could stand. The other
Jack
two
of
were
All
just
Trades was
god-awful.
awesome. Well, Cleopatra 2525 wasn't very interesting, but
I only liked Jack of All Trades from the prior one that he did about the Western.
you
Briscoe
mean
County.
Briscoe
County,
County,
Jr.
yeah, because it's pretty much the same thing, just different time period.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get to our news bits because we have quite a bit to cover. And our first news bit is Soul Calibur 4 announced for the PS3 and Xbox 360. Haven't seen too many screenshots of it yet.
Also announced Kalik not in this version.
Not yet. They've only announced like 6 or 7 characters so far.
No, I'm
Just
just
don't
gonna
spill all the beans at once.
I'm just gonna go over there and kill them if they put Kalik in this version.
They couldn't take him out. He's kind of a main character. And he didn't die in 3.
Damn it!
He's part of the staff.
He's part of the cheese.
Soul cheese.
Yes.
And the soul cheese still burns.
Well, who's worse, Kalik or Maxi?
Kalik.
Because
he can hit it from a distance.
And he can just use one move all the time.
Yes.
That's like the ultimate cheese.
Yes.
It's just whack, 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 whack the whole time.
Yes. Stop
He wasn't
playing.
as cheesy as Raphael, though.
Well, nah.
He's not as cheesy as Guile either, but that's not really the point.
Siegfried's got some real cheeseball moves, too, because his sword's fucking as big as he is, and he just has to swing it in your direction and he hits you. But,
I like Siegfried.
Yes, but at least he doesn't say, Sonic Boom, Sonic Boom, Sonic Boom. I mean, the cheese is just that much more annoying when you have to hear it over and over again.
Well, hey, at least it's not as bad as when the computer is playing Guile and it's like Sonic Boom, Sonic Boom, Sonic Boom. It's like, aren't you supposed to charge that move?
Yeah.
So, moving on to the next news bit. Number 2, Kiki Kai Kai 2 canceled, or otherwise known as Pocky and Rocky. It was coming out on the PS2.
I don't even know what that was.
That's too bad. I love playing that in the original PC Engine.
Yeah, can you help us Japanese challenge people here?
Well,
It was a little, it was like a...
Shrine Maiden, it was a Miko.
It was like Akari Warriors, except you were a little girl throwing out spells, paper spells.
Huh.
Oh, they probably canceled it because you couldn't have the little twisty joystick like in the Akari Warriors. I mean, really.
You only needed an 8-way run, really, on a regular joypad. It wasn't that complex, but it was a fun game back on the PC Engine. Did that launch with a PC Engine? Because that was like the first game I got on there, but I can't remember. I bought it used years later, though. So
it was on the PC Engine. However, it was arcade first. Taito is the manufacturer of the game, and then it came out on the PC Engine, the SNES 2 times, and the Game Boy Advance, and I believe that's it.
That's too bad. That would have been kind of nice.
Sequel to obscure game from 20 years ago?
It's not that old.
Yeah.
Hey,
All right, number 3, a game people have heard of before.
Time Crisis 4 announced for the PS3.
This game looks sweet. I watched.
This
I
news
watched
is for
video
you,
of
Brian.
this. Man, this is one of the few reasons I would be interested in a PS3.
What would be the other reasons?
I haven't seen them yet.
They have
I'm
not.
sure they're coming, like Metal Gear Solid.
Well,
They
Brian's
Trailer was really impressive.
see the Brian's path to buying a PS3 is, Time Crisis 4 ? Sony profits.
yeah,
Sony doesn't profit. Sony revenues.
yeah.
So
Maybe after they release the next PS3 without the Blu-ray player, then I'll consider it.
They can't
Oh
do
yeah,
that.
no, they
that'll
can't.
happen.
No, I thought they couldn't do
They're-
that because there were some games that were on Blu-ray disc.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
All their games have released on Blu-ray, as far as I know.
Yeah, kind of never gonna happen.
when they come out with a cheaper Blu-ray player, I give it another year at least.
Well, we will see.
That's about the standard fare.
Next up, Beautiful Katamari announced for Xbox 360 and PS3, and I think that's changed now. I think, what was it now?
It's just
PS
Xbox
Is
360.
it just Xbox 360
Yeah.
now?
Because Microsoft gave them some money for at least a time-limited exclusive.
Which means 9 months to a year.
Was the old one an ugly Katamari?
I
Possibly.
guess.
Well, it's just a ball
It's
of
a
random
beautiful
crap
world
and
that we can't
buildings and
appreciate.
Oh yeah, this is the beautiful world of Katamari that we're unable to appreciate.
For Time Crisis 4, they figured out how to make the light guns work generically.
In fact, they've actually got a light gun that'll work for it. They've designed for the system itself.
and it's
so.
going to have like sensor bars like the Wiimote.
I
right?
think what I saw, was its own sensor bar setup that came with the gun. So it's kind of like doing any LCD TV or buying one of the aftermarket sets so you can use your old gun cons on LCDs.
Right.
But it looks really good. Time Crisis always looks good and fun, and they just did a great job with this one. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
I always like to play those at the arcade, though, for some reason. The big stand-up, the little, like...
Oh, speaking of
Recoil
arcade, I saw
gun.
Police
They're all cool.
911 2 yesterday.
Oh, you
What?
found a place
The
that had
sequel.
it. It's
They
been
had
out
2
for
of
a
them.
while. I saw the online listing for it, but I've never seen it in an arcade.
It's at the Colorado Mills Mall.
Huh.
In,
I have to stop
their
by there.
arcade place.
Well,
The one that even more lets you knock your way into bystanders as you go.
Yeah.
Well, don't do that.
Bonk. Oh, sorry, I was dodging so I didn't die.
well,
You push him down. Get down, civilian, get down!
They had a Capcom
A lot of fire.
Ultracade too, which was basically a legal name box.
yeah, I've seen those before,
Must be like 100 Capcom games on there.
Huh.
Unbelievable.
and all of them Street Fighter. Oh,
which seems
No,
kind
I'm
of
sure there's some
retarded
Contra
to
in
me,
there,
though,
too.
because
they didn't make Contra.
all of those games
It's
are
probably
the
in
kinds of games you can get at home and play at home. So why would you
Yeah.
want to pay quarters
A lot
to
of
play
people
them one
have
at
most
a
of
time?
them anyways, but
Yeah.
this is a way to introduce the old games to a younger generation.
I
Capcom,
think like the
Konami,
younger
what's
kids
the
are spending a
difference?
lot of time in the arcades.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Next thing you know,
If they had Ticket Machine working in it where it pumped out tickets as you played the game, then it would be
Wow.
feasible. But yeah, I don't see the real replay value there.
yeah.
They'll take and they'll put R-Type in there, and then you get more tickets if you can survive beyond 30 seconds.
Now that would be worth playing. I'd be getting tickets if that were the case.
Yeah. Or, they can put it in Rise of the Robots and they can give us tickets to play it.
Yes.
Next up, Sony launches official PlayStation blog. It is at blog.us.playstation.com. This is the Major Nelson of... Not really Major Nelson.
It's more
but
like the, as Penny Arcade put
Full
it,
Nelson?
it's more like the Xbox Live blog, where it's blogged by a bunch of generic corporate shills instead of somebody with a personality and opinions.
Yeah,
If you'd like my opinion on that, I could give you one.
I
think we have it.
We'll add that in a future podcast here, John. So, moving on. Next
I
up,
don't know. We're going to lose out on all those Sony ad dollars now.
Yeah.
yeah. All I want for Christmas is a PS3.com. Sponsored by Diehard Gamer Radio.
Yes.
Disclaimer: Diehard Gamer Radio does not endorse this product.
Actually, I do
Now we need
endorse
to
the
buy
PSP.
that. The ad guys are going to come down and say, now we have to buy. All I want for Christmas is a PlayStation 3.
They probably already own They probably already own it. Next up,
Be like hornymanatee.com.
Oh, the horny manatee. Oh.
Yeah. Grimoire.
Grimoire.
Is to be released tomorrow.
Which will probably be
26th.
a couple of days ago when you hear this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on how much I get to edit.
Actually, it was released today if you were buying it on NCS, but you still won't get it in the mail until tomorrow.
Yeah. What have you heard about this game, John? Because I know that you...
I heard it's grim.
Well,
GameSpot already has a review up for it. It's from the same developer who did Odin Sphere and seems to have a lot of the same visual style to it. But it's essentially a 2D RTS for a console, as far as I can tell. A bit of a Harry Potter vibe for the storyline. It sounds really fascinating.
are you going to pick it up?
As soon as I get my PS2 back, which will be in another couple months.
It's all right. It's a 2D RTS that has Harry Potter vibe to it. So do you hear things like "You must build more overlords" or something?
The main character is, I guess, a little girl attending wizard school, and something goes horribly wrong, and she has to keep reliving the same 5 days until she figures out what's going wrong.
So Harry Potter meets Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
It's like we're just
It's Harry Potter Day!
Don't do that.
That ain't falling down, and you got my dollars.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have Contra 4 announced on the Nintendo DS.
Oh, so happy to see another Contra coming back. It's kind of smaller than usual, but...
It is being developed by Way Forward is the development studio on this, which I'm kind of like...
There's a 50-50 chance this might be good.
Have they done any of the other Contra games?
No.
Okay.
So I don't know why they decided to go to that developer, but...
Well, if they go out and study soldiers in the wild and get all their movements down...
Or Konami could have been smart and go, there was this company that's an offshoot of us called Treasure. Maybe we can, have them work on it, seeing as how they've worked on a couple of our other games recently. So I'm not quite sure why they went to these guys, but I don't know. Maybe they were the cheapest.
And this is going to be a break from like Neo Contra and some of the others
Well,
they've done, or is this going to be a 2D platformer again? Or?
From the screenshots I've seen so far, it is a pure 2D Contra. I mean, it's... From the graphics I've seen so far, it looks a lot like Super Contra on the SNES right now, except better graphics. So we'll have to see as the game progresses.
I'm sure it'll totally outsell Brain Training.
I don't know about that. Next up, BioWare to create Sonic role-playing game for the DS. And no, I am not making that up.
Yeah, is this based on the cartoon?
Are they going to use the
not.
Fallout engine? Because that'd be pretty fun.
On the DS,
No. They're going to use the Wasteland engine.
Only for Knuckles Chaotix.
Actually uses the Ultima 4 engine.
No,
I heard.
But it would be pretty great if Sonic could go around and like sell all his sidekicks off into prostitution for quick cash.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work.
I don't think anybody out there really is. They just kind of announced it and said, hey, look who we got. And, well, it's going to be great.
So is this Sega admitting they can't make a good Sonic game anymore?
Well, I think Sega knew that some time ago.
I think this is Sonic saying, make Sonic franchise game, question, profit.
Yeah. And let's give it to BioWare.
Whoever's the hottest out there right now, yeah.
So, weirdness abounds. Next up, we have Sony planning 380 games for the fiscal year.
For February, yeah.
Well,
they specifically said in the article that it was only 200 actual games and 180 virtual games, so downloadable games. So
I really
200
think
is still a little...
I think that it was actually a mistype. They meant to say that Sony gives up and makes 360 games.
Either that, or maybe somebody added a 0 on the end by accident.
Or maybe there's
I
a
think they're
decimal
counting
point
each
missing.
of the games like 3 times for each region.
Yeah.
We've made 380 versions
Which
of
we'll
Gran
find out.
Turismo.
We'll find out in like February next year. Oh well, actually, we were counting them per region.
No,
And Australia's a 4th region.
Well, and also, I mean, they're claiming they've already released like 80 games or something.
really?
Which
that
I don't
means
know if
there's
you're
like
doing, like, the
70 on
quality-
the virtual console, maybe.
There's not.
Maybe
that
they
many
count the
downloadable
mini
titles,
games that are user made in their home service or whatever.
Yeah.
which hasn't launched yet.
Well, you know, someday.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got it. You just haven't seen them yet. No, they're going by our virtual list of all people making games for them, whether they're coming out or not.
Yeah.
This is what we're projected to make by February of next year.
If we're totally unrealistic.
Well, smart man never finishes that sentence.
Yeah, well.
Leaves it up to the reporters. Because then they have to put it in parentheses like,
Yeah,
oh, well,
but Sony's
maybe.
not well known for making good public, statements. So.
No, they're just good. They're just well known for making publicity.
Sony Computer Entertainment isn't.
Wow.
It's all about publicity. They just got to keep themselves in the spotlight, which they always do with shit like this. It always
guess
drums
they're
up
trying to.
unnecessary reporting, really.
Well, and 380 games is like, okay, I don't know where you're getting these games from. Unless you're,
It's like when the N64
It's the giant
launched, and
Sony
there
ass
was
they're
like
pulling from.
70 release day titles for it, and like 4 of them showed up.
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Projections.
And of course, the key word here is plans. That doesn't mean in your hands, ready to play.
Yeah, they don't say
Also, since we're seeing
guaranteed.
the reports of people jumping ship from supporting Sony and refocusing on the Wii because they're looking at the sales numbers.
Yeah. It prints
Well,
money.
Everybody's jumping ship and going to any other console out there they think they can make money
Some
on.
console that has, not the lowest number of sales this year.
And some sort of infrastructure.
Yeah.
Oh, they have some sort of infrastructure. It's not good infrastructure, but some sort of infrastructure.
Yeah, there's the infrastructure within the PlayStation 3 that prevents it from collapsing upon itself like a black hole.
But pops open and takes a foot out and inserts it in your mouth.
Its
That's
own
the
mouth.
special Sony exec feature.
Yeah.
You can only
That
buy
was-
that from the corporate store.
That's it. Yeah, you buy it from the store and it's a bonus.
That's one of the games that they're coming out with, Sony Executive Tycoon.
Which one
Where you
is?
take a huge video game empire and piss it away.
Yeah.
I think that was that Sega one that came out on
Play
the
as
Saturn.
Ken Kutaragi, hero of O.
Yeah.
All right, next.
Yeah. Tabula Rasa beta releases, and Steve can tell me more about this game, but is this is a private beta, or what's going on
This
with
is
this?
a closed beta.
Okay.
So yeah, same
Though
thing.
apparently it's not that hard to get in because they also
Well-
emailed me a beta key.
Yeah, I can't imagine there's all that many people that actually signed up for this because they're all playing WoW.
Excellent point.
So I can go to their site and sign up for their
Probably.
closed beta at this point.
Now, granted, I will say I don't know when John signed up for their closed beta, but I signed up
Months
for it in
ago.
March.
Yeah.
So
Long time ago.
who knows how far they've gotten to the list. But I haven't been able to download the client yet because I have a feeling that their FTP server is only up when their open play times are up.
They're doing the same thing they did with Auto Assault then.
Yeah, because I wasn't able to. I got it like last Wednesday, and it got lost in the swamp that is my Gmail account. And so I was cleaning out my Gmail account on Saturday. I'm like going, oh, look, Tabula Rasa beta key. That's pretty cool. So I went, and I put in the serial number and everything. All ready to go, start downloading, and can't get into the FTP server. Haven't been able to get into it yet. So I mentioned this, whatever. But, whatever.
And
I don't expect the thing to be out until next year sometime anyway, so I got time.
So what's this MMORPG about that is getting you kind of excited about it?
Well, it's got a couple of interesting things in it. One of which is it's sci-fi and not,
Fantasy.
not fantasy. It's not a WoW clone.
We're talking
That's what
about
it
like
was on
Blade Runner or something like that.
It's a hybrid RPG/shooter FPS game.
Actual real-time combat.
Okay. I'm
And the
curious.
interesting things about it, one of the interesting, there's a lot of stuff they haven't announced. The Wikipedia page has, well, they said this, and they said this.
Yeah.
They didn't steal the source code. That was Lineage 3.
Yeah. Well, and they, apparently they're putting some resources into this because they've pulled people off of doing like at least community relations stuff from Guild Wars to this.
Okay.
But
And it's shown at, I think, the last 2 E3s.
yeah, well, the last 2 E3s that showed that, it was a sci-fi action kind of RPG games. Before that, it was a fantasy RPG. And it just changed one year all of a sudden to a sci-fi
So the name
RPG.
is very apropos.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of interesting, apparently, from what they say on the Wikipedia page. Basically, you play either the side of this alliance that's an alliance of a number of planets against these people called the what they're called. They're called something foreboding something. And these two armies actually are NPC armies that are fighting against each other, and they will actually take and give positions and land and stuff, and you choose to fight with one of the two sides. And so there's actually combat going on without the player characters, but the player characters engaging in these battles and these events with these NPCs can actually tip it back and forth depending on whatever.
Huh.
And there's actually, like Dark Age of Camelot, there's rewards for holding places and gaining territory and stuff like that for your side if you take it from the other side. But that's all they really have to it. I mean, there's not a whole hell of a lot out there. And
It'd be cool if it played out like Tribes in that sense.
Well, they don't really say a lot about the logistics of how you play it.
Yeah.
But it does sound kind of like Tribes, except on a larger base. They also everybody starts the same class. Nice. Everybody's starts the same class, and they've got a tree that's got multiple tiers, and you specialize as you go out. But you can actually clone at different tiers, and so that you don't, you can go back to a tier and you can try a different specialization.
That's kind of nifty. Gives you an all-around chance to try a bunch of different ways.
So is it going to be like Ultima Online, where skills improve through use? So it's just kind of like what you do, you get better at?
I don't think it really said.
Huh.
I didn't see anything about it I don't remember reading anything about it on the Wikipedia page.
This could be kind of fun to go in as a clan.
Well, I mean,
and
it's
fight
got
as
good
like
pedigree. I mean, Guild Wars, the developers for Guild Wars, made a pretty good game. People like to play it. And it's got Gary out on it, so there's good pedigree there.
Yeah.
Oh, so...
Does he still call himself Lord British?
He apparently does not. There's not a lot of Britain in space, apparently.
That's actually kind of refreshing.
Well, it was a heady, fun time in the 80s when things slightly above ASCII art passed for games.
And you got a cloth map with everyone.
You did.
Yeah.
That was pretty sweet.
It was.
So when you get onto the closed beta, let me know, because I've been trying to look for an MMORPG to get into for a while.
Why aren't you playing WoW?
Because I have a life.
That's the place to go.
But I might get addicted.
Yes.
Or something.
Now, if the DSM-5 has video game addiction as one of its things, then you can get drugs for that.
Oh,
sweet.
What kind of drugs are they going to give me for video game addiction?
I don't know, but
here's a book.
I'm convinced that the drug companies want video game addiction to be classified as thing, so they can actually sell more drugs, because all the video gamers will go, wait. We can get drugs for this? Oh, man, I'm addicted. Oh, I just can't stop playing. I mean, look at this. Rise of the Robots has got me.
Well, some guy just got his
actual Butrin until Rise of the Robots sounds like fun.
Some guy over in the UK, I think it's the UK or Scotland or Ireland, somewhere over there, just got his addiction for heavy metal music classified as a disability, and the government's now going to pay him a monthly disability.
I saw that
because he's causing him not to go to work, to do everything he does everything to go to these shows and listen to heavy metal music.
You have noticed that Britain's fucked up, though, right?
Oh, yeah. It's just examples like this really impress upon me how much I've forgotten how fucked up it is.
Once again, they boil pizza. This is, this is not a sane
Eating
society.
things in a stomach.
Yes. Not a sane society.
Yes. All right.
Moving on. Our last news bit, Beggar Prince sold out for the Genesis.
Will they make like 4 copies?
No, they made...
I think it was like
10.
400 or
something.
something.
They made 600
600
copies, and then they sold all those out and then made an additional 300, and those are all sold out as well.
Wow. That's just... And wasn't that
That's
like
like every Genesis in
like
the U.S.
$39 price tag or something?
Yeah, it was $49.99.
$49, okay.
For those who don't know, Beggar Prince is a Taiwanese game for the Genesis, and it was released in 1996 by C&E Incorporated, and an English translation
The port
was
took
done
a little
by,
while.
Yeah, was done by an
rough.
American company, Super Fighter Team, and it shipped May 22nd, 2006 at $40 a copy. And it's the first Sega Genesis commercially available game since 1998. So it was like, 9 years?
Yeah, people were just jumping on
8
the
years.
boat with this just for collectability. It was the last.
I'm sure that
Genesis
getting to
game.
play Beggar Prince was not the primary reason people were really excited about this.
I debated on picking one of these up too because I could have pre-ordered it, but I was just like,
Who was pre-ordering it? Like where?
They were selling it off their website. You could
I was
pre-order
like,
it.
are retailers actually carrying this thing?
Nope,
No.
all direct sales.
Yeah. You know,
Well, we know there's at least 300 Genesis enthusiasts in the
900.
900
yeah.
Genesis enthusiasts in the 6 billion United States, or how much are we now?
Or at least
400
900
million.
obsessive video game collectors.
Yeah.
Who want to sell it on eBay?
All right. So that's it for the gaming news. Next up, we have our gaming topics. And our first topic is why is there a price difference between the same title on PC/console, and has it affected people's buying habits? And John had actually introduced me to this topic. So what was the thought process for this topic here, John?
The main thing that came up is because Overlord's going to have a really weird pricing. And it's not so much PC console, it's this whole next generation $10 tax, which still seems kind of weird, where you just pay $10 more because it came out on the 360 or the PS3.
Yeah.
Didn't you see that tax bill passed?
Yes. That was also an Orrin Hatch one.
But it was especially odd for
Political humor
Overlord,
for our video game audience there.
as it's releasing on PC and 360, and on the 360 it's going to be $60, and on the PC it's going to be $40.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's a brand new game, which means it has to be released at the $59 price tag. If it's an older or less popular game, then maybe the $49 or $39 if we're lucky.
Well, it's also because you got to entice somebody to buy a game for their computer these days.
So you're wondering why
is
there's
harder.
such a price difference between the two?
well, and this is an odd one because, I mean, we're really used to seeing things released at $50 for PC and consoles and $60 on the next gen, but this is one where we're seeing an even wider spread, and I wonder if that's going to keep getting even worse, or are we going to stop paying this extra $10 at some point?
or are we just going to buy PC like me?
Well, okay. I'm going to, go with the simplest solution here, the Occam's razor, so to speak. I think the only reason that they're selling it at that price is because people are buying it at that price.
Yeah.
It's if people weren't buying it at that price, they would have dropped the price by now. I mean, I can't see any logical reason.
You know what's even weirder,
why they
too,
are
is...
charging.
Well, I think that's actually a good obvious reason for it, but it's also because, the 360 and the PS3 have very small installed bases, and the people who bought them have a lot of money because they bought them.
But what's weird is you'll watch this, and
But-
inside of 2 months, I guarantee you'll find Overlord cheaper than regular release date price on the PC somewhere. Somebody will have $5 or $10 off of it.
Well, they do that for the console, too.
Yeah, but
it's
it's
very
PC
rare for
prices
the console.
also crash a lot faster, but that's and the PC market is just one of the common things that's given for that too is the PC market doesn't have the same resale that the gaming consoles do.
Yeah,
you
by
can't
far.
walk into a gaming store and resell it.
So you're thinking
Doesn't
they're
have the
adding
same
the
used sale
$10 because
market.
they're thinking they may lose
Well,
the
but
money.
they don't
in
add the same $10 when you're looking at other games where they're releasing on the PS2 and the 360.
Yeah, that's true. But,
Maybe it's because we spend so much time upgrading our hardware for the PC. They figure, wow, those guys must be poor.
well, that I was going to make that point because it's like with the console, at least you're hopefully guaranteed. I don't know
We're sorry that you had to buy that 8800 GTX.
yeah,
Here's $10 off your next game.
yeah. But I mean,
it might just be the licensing fees from
Well, here's-
Microsoft and Sony.
well,
that
that's-
could be too.
But I mean, to get it working in a console doesn't really take anything. PC, you have to go through hoops sometimes.
Maybe
to get it
game
working.
publishers just hate console players.
Maybe the licensing fee is like 15%.
Well,
I'm
That's-
thinking it's probably more than that.
well,
Good Lord.
I bet the console manufacturers are probably taking a pretty big chunk off.
yeah,
of it just
licensing
the
fees for
licensing.
consoles are
Maybe
usually
Because
just
they also
because
do the
the next gen
distribution and
setup.
manufacturing and everything.
so the $10 may just be to offset.
And I mean,
Whatever.
These Blu-ray discs, they're not cheap.
Well, that would preclude, somebody making games for the PS3,
Yeah,
so I don't have to worry about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could so sell this game for $79. I'm confident. We haven't sold a system.
Yes, Mr. Ken, yes, we will totally do that.
What do you mean, Mr. Ken? That's like
I'm not buying
Mr.
another $80 game unless it has Phantasy Star on the cover.
And it comes with a cloth map.
Or at least a hint book.
And Richard
goddammit.
Garriott delivers it to your house personally.
Yeah.
He's just got it's like those
gonna
Wii
have to fly
commercials
and
with
walk.
the two guys in the little car.
Two old Japanese guys.
It's like it's got Garriott and a driver, and he just drives up to your house and knocks on the door and gives you Ultima and then leaves.
Yeah, but that's not a Kutaragi thing. That's been going on since Sakaguchi, the old president of Nintendo. Nintendo 64 and the games for like 79 when they first came out.
Wait. Howard wasn't the president of Nintendo?
Well, Howard Phillips was the president of Nintendo of America, but I think that was just.
But he was in the
not
magazine.
This was Howard Lincoln.
He was in the magazine.
Well, I know that.
They said he was he ran Nintendo.
Puppet.
Well, yeah, but that was
my
that was
dreams
until
are crushed.
that was until the Nintendo 64 when they changed
And the puppet strings are
over.
cut.
But Hironobu Sakaguchi, they did was it like $70 for all the? But the Nintendo's is not what we're really talking about because Nintendo's just console only. We're talking, console and PC, which is like Xbox 360 and. Some
I can play
PS3.
Super Mario Brother on my computer.
Well, I know that. But it's like, the difference between
Everybody
$5
now.
and nothing.
I mean, I support Nintendo in all ways.
I can play it on my PSP.
I would not. Next topic.
Yeah. So why?
Who wants to play a fucking plumber jumping on backs of turtles?
What?
This is
Okay,
Mushroom
so
Kingdom.
I think we've got a good rationale for it. I mean, it's the 360 and the PS3 are a premium experience, and they're still pricing it like that.
A premium experience for what? 3 red
Well, the
rings?
PS3 is kind of a premium experience. It's kind of like premium gas. You pay more for it. You're not really getting a whole lot more for it.
But what I really wonder about is now when the 360 and PS3, when we see some real price cuts on them, and they finally get down to, say, the $200 price point in 3 years or so, whether or not the games will also be dropping back down to $50 or if $60 is like our new price point.
Once again, if people are willing to pay for it, I don't see why they're going to drop the price.
I for one welcome our new $60 overlords.
I think this is just an example of the next generation. They're gouging for more because
yeah,
it's
but
higher technology.
It's almost like they're using that as an excuse.
No, exactly. That's exactly it. They're using that as an excuse to get more money out of you. They know you want the
people are
new...
stupid enough to pay for it.
Getting more money,
Well,
though.
they don't
At least
really
not
have a
for me.
choice.
Well,
I mean,
that's
I'm
true.
still waiting for the price to drop
Oh, yeah,
just
yeah.
like I did before.
I very rarely see a 360 game sell out anywhere I go. They're always fully stocked. It's going to be that way because a lot of people haven't accepted that price point, and
Gears
they won't.
sold out.
Well, Gears was an exception. There's always that exception to the rule. The
Well,
one
Gears
game
was the
that really
blockbuster.
just you
Yeah.
can't help but buy. I bought mine and I waited.
Halo before there was Halo.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Well, the one way to really test this is when Halo 3 comes out. See how much they're going to... I mean, we kind of have an idea of when
Microsoft studios have been consistently pricing at $50 instead of $60 for a lot of their stuff.
Well, that's unless you
You
get
should
like
buy that
the,
limited edition for 120 with a helmet.
Yeah, the helmet that only fits on a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
This game
but-
gives...
so it'll fit on Damien.
You're
this
saying
game-
you're
this game-
saying that like that's a bad thing. I mean, cat helmet. This is pretty sweet.
Wait a minute, I suddenly need to get one of those.
This game gives...
I'm going to get pictures of Betsy with a Halo helmet on. It's Master Chief Betsy! Ow!
I could just see the commercial ads. This Halo gives good helmet.
Next topic.
Brian's off the podcast.
I had to kill that one. It was just
Okay,
horrible.
we give our predictions for E3 2007.
Why do we need to predict this? It's going to not be as interesting as 2006.
Will there be booth babes?
No.
There won't be booths. What are you talking about?
It's going to be like, some bathroom, and Sony's going to be out of the women's bathroom. Here's a PlayStation 3.
Can't have a babe without a booth, man.
It's going to look like Anarchy Online. Except it won't be free.
That's pretty sad, Steve.
I'm more excited about BlizzCon myself. Or E for everyone, for that matter.
Well, given how many WoW players there are, I mean, having a special convention just to talk about StarCraft.
Fuck the WoW players. Yeah, WoW players. I just want to go play StarCraft 2.
I don't know. I mean, any game or system predictions we're going to see. I mean, the only thing that I kind of
Anybody really
am
think
thinking,
anybody's going to announce anything at E3 anymore?
We might get to see
Actually,
the
there's
Phantom.
no.
we might see
There's
Duke
still
Nukem
everybody's
forever.
still going to be covering it. Anybody that's
Yeah, but
still
everybody's
a news source.
like, you know, but
All they're
they're
gonna be
all
able to
going to
do
get
is-
is like the Fed stuff. Basically, nobody does
Yeah.
exclusive stuff at
Yeah.
E3 anymore because it's not exciting enough to be a media event anymore.
So
It's
you
just
think
like,
after-
hey, you media people show up? Okay, we
Go
get
have
free
a
stuff.
seat over there. Yeah.
So now that E3 is more exclusive, you think it's just lost its relevance?
Well, it's lost its excitability. I mean, nobody
Just
really
because-
cares about it now because they can't get into it. There's nothing exciting going on with it. I mean, it was all glamour before, and now
what's
it's
the
just
official word on who gets invited to this now? Because it used to be like, oh, I have a website. You're pressed, you get in.
Yeah,
No,
they
you
limited
have to
it
get
a pretty
invited
hard
from
number,
E3.
And they were going to invite
it-
from like published.
They were just basically
academic
doing.
publications and
They're
stuff.
doing like Dead Tree, basically, or what?
I would expect probably some of the really big sites. I wouldn't be surprised
Dead
if
Tree and
IGN
Kotaku.
and Kotaku probably doesn't even qualify. I bet it would be like
Well, that,
IGN and.
See, there's the
GameSpot
thing right there. That's
Yeah.
not like, you know. Okay.
G4. G4 was hyping it. Oh yeah, we'll have exclusive coverage at E3. And I was
Yeah,
like,
because they'll be the only ones there.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we got some great. Oh, sorry, tumbleweed.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
they really cared about this, they'd go to some of the underground sources like Kotaku because those are the real sources that people
I
want
think
to.
Kotaku is where the gaming publications go for their news.
Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's probably not too far
it's
from
kind
the
of funny,
truth,
but it's
actually.
true. I mean, they've got
It's like
reporters
Fart
around
before
the
Fart
world.
got lame.
Yeah. The good old days.
But you know, E3's dead and good riddance. I mean, it
Really?
was this massive media hype thing. All the developers always claimed about wasting 2 months of their development cycle every year just to get a demo ready.
So basically,
for
it.
it was the clusterfuck of video games, basically.
It was a
Let's
glamour
just wait
show.
for
It
the
was,
games to actually come out, and we can see them then.
Something else is, I mean, you know, there's going to be something else that'll
It more
take its
catered to
place.
the public than it catered to the,
the
news
marketing
industry and the,
the
industry
marketing
itself.
folks are the marketing folks for video game companies are just going to be scrambling around trying to find out what's the next E3, and then the 2 months before whatever trade show becomes the next big E3 like it used to be, they're just going to shift the development crazy crunch cycle to that.
And PAX is going to be everything that E3 should be. I mean, that's what I would look forward to, anyways. So I'm more excited about going to PAX myself.
Well, the only prediction...
Those guys even
yeah.
have like the time to play video games that aren't on their DS anymore. Gabe and Tycho. I mean, seriously, those guys do so much crap all the time now. It's like there's no way these
don't
guys.
know.
They're like
No, these
now
guys
they're
are- no,
now
they're
they're
diehard
internet
gamers.
famous because they're internet famous though. But they don't review anything anymore. I mean, like
They
back
did
in the
talk
early
about
days,
Odin Sphere.
they did. But you know, what's there
Well,
to
they
say
did-
about
they-
Odin Sphere?
They drew a comic on it, so that's kind of like talking about it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, not that I don't like PA, but I think it's just kind of funny that like the video game
I'm sure
industry
they
is
touched
so
base
much
with it.
so much larger now. There's no way they can like, oh well, we got this great new exclusive thing because they're too busy. You know, well yeah, we run this gigantic convention now, and our business manager makes us actually do business things instead of playing video games and missing all our deadlines and selling the company 4 times. So,
Yeah.
so on one hand,
not
it's
selling the company, selling the rights to all of
Yeah,
their work
yeah.
and future work.
yes,
Yeah.
and being paid in installments on their selling of the comic.
Yeah,
Not
like,
that it's lost that seat of the pants type thing,
Yeah.
the underground thing. Not that I don't like
That's
it.
the
They're still
problem with
funny,
popularity
but
is you become
they need to
too
just have
popular.
Bat Jew come back and what's his name, Monkey,
Safety Monkey.
Yeah.
come back and do some posts and stuff.
Um,
like that,
I
the
think
apparently they got their own sites now, but I've never heard of them. So
Yeah.
they linked to him back in the day.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they link to MP3s anymore either.
Well, that's true too.
But like I was
I
going,
think when they started taking down their server with
Yeah.
song downloads.
like I was saying, no, the bench was eating up all the bandwidth.
Well, they also don't link to tasty hats made of meat anymore either.
No. But like I was saying, the only real prediction that I would have for E3 is something from Sony regarding a PSP redesign. I know
Since we've
Sony's
been
full of
hearing
shit.
So many rumors about that.
Yeah,
lately.
I know Sony's said a bunch of
publicity.
stuff, and I think Sony's full of shit. They're like, oh no, we don't have any redesigns planned. You know, they're full of
but
shit.
come on, Nintendo was saying there's no DS redesign coming out like 2 weeks before the Lite launch.
Oh, whatever. Nintendo.
It's almost more productive to be counterproductive right up until the end.
Yeah.
Well, they don't want to scare people off from buying what they got on the shelves right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or, you know, Microsoft may come out with an announcement like, oh, yeah, by the way, we added a heat sink to the Xbox 360. Thanks.
Well, they're spinning that one just as hard as they can because they are adding heat sinks to the 360s that get sent back for repairs.
Well, what
they're saying it's just because, you know, we can do that.
We got
it's
this
okay.
big box of heat sinks and nothing to do with them.
It's not that a console has reliability
problems
or anything.
It looked used in small comparison.
Your processor looked lonely.
Well, since we make the biggest console out there,
what are they putting those on anyway?
Fan too.
Are they chipset heat sinks or whatever?
That was a GPU heat sink that they added on with another set of heat pipes.
I read something on the testing of those, and they said they really don't help that much. They're not,
well,
it's kind of blown out of proportion. It's almost like, oh, yeah, I got a bigger heat sink. Woo! And it's like 2 degrees difference.
Well, that'll do it.
Well,
I mean, 2
I don't
degrees
think
is
in
2
an
degrees.
Xbox it will, because those things run really hot.
Well, yeah, but 2 degrees is 2 degrees. I mean, that's a...
In
when
a
you're
PC world, yeah. In an Xbox,
just,
I don't think so.
They got to have some reason for doing it, though. Yeah. They're not putting them on there out of the kindness of their heart or because they got a box of spare heat sinks.
Who knows? Maybe they make them.
And here's the thing. And the thing is, I really...
too many?
I love
day-old heat sinks.
I think Microsoft's just real funny about this whole thing. It's like they won't admit there is a mistake on this.
Well, the reliability issues for them are the elephant in the room that they're trying to avoid talking about, and we don't know how big it is.
Worst
but
return.
It's a story that won't go away.
They're saying now it's like 3 to 5% of these had to be returned for heating.
Well, but that percentage keeps going up every time they talk about it. It's like, oh yes, there was like only a couple hundred.
We don't have real numbers, so we just
don't know. You've only got to get on the forums
really
to
don't
see
want
the
to
real
talk
horror
about
stories of just how many people have had to send them back.
It's just weird that Microsoft won't own up to this.
Once you send one back, that they give you back a refurb unit. So it sounds like the people that have had to send them back keep getting these really bad stories of, keep sending them back because they keep getting ones that are unreliable. Yeah. So,
well, I read an article by, I think it was one of the guys on Kotaku that had already gone through 2 brand new ones. And he's just so pissed that he has to buy a 3rd one now.
Yeah. There's the whole thing about it, too, though, that makes it so hard to judge any of this from the internet furor is because the only people who complain are the ones with problems.
Yeah.
And so the only thing that makes me really nervous about this one is just the fact that the story won't die. The console's been around for a while now. You'd hope the reliability issues would be getting better, but the story's just not going away.
Yeah.
Well,
that's we were at Walker's and your VGA cable came, or your video cable came unhooked, and I saw the red thing going. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Might be an unbalanced match tonight.
I did the same thing. I didn't plug it in when I'd moved mine at my house at one point. I saw that went, and I went, oh, wait a minute.
Well, it looks so foreboding. I mean, even if you didn't know what it meant, it's this blood red, ring of lights that you're like, I don't know what that means, but it can't be good.
Well, no, your system looks like it's turned evil.
Your Xbox is
possessed. Or it's locking on or something.
It's locking on, target found, and suddenly you have a hole in your head.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the PSP redesign thing could be really interesting, though, because one of the very current news stories we had is that in the most recent 3.5 firmware, Sony has now changed their policy to allow first-party developers to clock the chip in the PSP up to 333 megahertz. And when it shipped, everything was clocked at 222 for battery life issues. Ratchet and Clank is this one special exception that they let them go to 266 because they needed to for this. But so the fact that they're willing to let developers clock this higher and do more with it and sacrifice battery life for it really makes me think that sometime fairly soon we're going to be seeing a new version that can actually run at the higher speed and that has the better battery and everything. That's not an issue.
Super lithium ion.
It's like they're just getting ready to set the stage for the next version of it.
You get a fuel cell and just carry on this thing.
And the OLED will probably still be, that rumor won't die.
No, the OLED. yeah, it's the new PSP, and it costs $7,000.
Sweet.
It's encrusted in diamonds.
Yes. No, the encrusted diamond one would actually be cheaper.
The man has a point. All right, well...
Oil on my ass, and I cost more than Bolivia.
So, our predictions for E3...
Bolivian real estate isn't that great since they opened up the suck
mines.
There's a story behind that. So what we're basically saying is that E3 will probably ship suck from the Bolivian suck mines and bring it to LA, and then
we'll look at carefully packaged corporate news that really isn't that exciting and will show up in Dead Tree publications 3 months after anybody cares about it.
Yeah. So moving on.
Irrelevant.
Our last game topic is we're going to talk about the Manhunt 2 ESRB rating and its repercussions.
They're just taking it back, and they're going to, it's going to be like... Well, it's going to be like, what the hell,
they're going to deball it a little.
It was one of those...
Well, they're probably going to remove the raping the prostitute's decapitated head.
Was that the reason why it was... I mean,
no, I think that was one of them,
They better put out a director's cut of this we can order, because,
They've got a pretty good track record releasing PC versions later on, and they've got a pretty good track record of somebody in there trying to push interesting things on their code.
It's got to be better than BMX XXX.
Maybe they'll do like the Kevin Smith movie. I can't remember what it was, where they like gave it an NC-17 and they resubmitted it and didn't change anything, and it got an R then.
Yeah. Wasn't that Jay and Silent Bob?
No, that was Jersey Girl.
Was it Jersey Girl?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think, though, some of the interesting things that this brings up is, unlike for movies, where there is a distribution channel for NC-17 content, you might not be able to walk in there in the daylight, but it exists. Whereas for video games, there's no distribution channel for adult-only.
So basically, AO is the kiss of death.
Well, once again, we have at least in the U.S. or in the West, it's the same thing as here's your lowly hentai game for the DS. Not really a distribution channel for that sort of thing. But, if you're not in the U.S. and in certain countries, you can get it pretty easy. So,
and
other countries, less sucky.
Yeah,
but
but
it depends on what you look at, though. I mean, Japan is in the process of putting some fairly nasty censorship on violence.
Yeah,
you may still be able to buy Water Closet, but they took decapitation.
I love that strategy guide. Oh wait,
I mean they've been getting censored versions of the games that we've been seeing here.
Yeah.
But I mean,
they're hiding Gears of War and Dead Rising behind the counter.
Let me ask you this. I mean, with the adults-only rating for the ESRB, I mean, basically that's almost the equivalent of NC-17. Even though there are distribution channels for NC-17 movies, the issue is that it's pretty much the kiss of death as far as a profitability.
Well, box office profit.
Well, yeah.
Box office revenue.
Yeah,
depending on the movie, and how much you spent making the movie, you can still make a profit off NC-17.
Yeah, but it's a lot harder than it would be.
You're not going to get Armageddon
returns.
returns.
That's box office only,
but
that's not projected rentals.
But it's making it de facto.
Well, that's what I mean.
It's making a de facto standard to that games are now going to have to be cut to fit this certain mold to get this rating.
Although if you look at movies, it isn't even the R rating that's the worst thing. I mean, look at that. There's people who have had to cut their films for the blockbuster standards, which are a little bit lower than the R.
Die-Hard.
Yeah.
Why is Die-Hard PG-13?
Yeah.
Because PG-13 movies make more revenue than our movies do.
Which means it's not going to be making any revenue from this person.
Well, yeah.
Until the uncensored DVD
director's cut. Yeah. The movie that's good.
That would be Die Hard 1.
Original
movie. This one could be not as bad as 3.
This could be more like True Lies, I think.
Well, I don't know. I mean, obviously trailers have carefully selected bits of them.
But even in the trailers, they've got the annoying sidekick that's following along the whole time, telling him how cool he is in every scene.
It's like Joe Pesci character, yeah.
So it'll be like...
Wait. Okay, wait.
Okay, but it's like Lethal Weapon 4.
I'm here, where's Riggs? Where's Riggs? I'm here, where's Riggs?
Did you get him? Yeah, he's been decaffeinated.
The one thing that really bugged me about Lethal Weapon 3 was that
it was made.
That and there's
wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it was. It was this one scene where Mel Gibson takes gas out of this truck or something, and this gas leaks out on the ground, and then he takes a lick of it or something like that, and he says Exxon, and he spits it out. It's like, okay, how would you know
He's
the
just that
brand of gasoline?
He's just
if
that
you
good.
were no,
He's that good.
no. I'm not going
that good,
to.
Murdock.
I will not accept that.
He's
That's
just-
like how you cannot accept
But
that whole
sometimes-
He's
rock.
rigged!
No, it's
Sometimes
like
he
that,
loses
it's,
guys
it's like
on the
that
freeway.
scene. It's like
That's
that
where Riggs
scene
is.
from The
He's
Rock
looking
that
for
you
Riggs.
can't stand.
He's looking for...
He pulled his partner off an exploding toilet.
It's
He's rigged.
like,
It's a little bit different than exploding trolleys.
Okay.
You know,
well, how about
a little bit different.
Well, how about Tailpipe from Star Trek 6?
Well, it'd be great if they had actually had those probes on the Enterprise.
It's fucking science.
Don't make me start.
It's space, man. They can get away with it.
Oh, whatever.
It's called plot, and somebody didn't edit the script right. But anyway.
Yeah, Steve.
So speaking of
yeah.
Manhunt, too.
Yes.
One of the
Steve,
other
Tad is the
interesting
seventh guest.
Nah. Really?
One of the other things I
Yes,
think
I
is
don't
really
remember
depressing
anything
about the
about that
ESRB ratings, though, is that there has yet to be a game that has gotten an AO rating for violence alone. There's always been sex as being one of the primary reasons for
So
the
this
AO
is
rating.
it's like the MPAA. They'll edit for sex more. I mean they'll
Well,
give an NC-17 towards sex more than would violence.
Well, and also it's that there's no compensation for context for it. Indigo Prophecy, otherwise known as Fahrenheit in other parts of the world, got an AO rating for having 2 sex scenes in it, which were completely in context with the game, were no worse than any R-rated top-up sex scene in a movie, were fairly essential to the plot line. And that got an AO rating. And they cut those out to get themselves an M rating for it, and released a download-only AO title later on that had basically just the same thing that released everywhere else. Whereas we're seeing titles that are being censored for violence all over the rest of the world. I don't know what to think of all of this rating stuff. And
part
what
of
we fit
part
for it.
okay,
I'm
part of
just
it.
really annoyed I can't buy the adults-only version.
Okay, well, part of it is going to be just the American culture. I mean, the American culture is terrified of sex. I mean, that is the number one reason, I mean, at least from what I've seen, is to why the MPAA edits the directors are forced to edit their movies, because it's okay to
I don't
show
even
some
know
guy
if you
being
can-
shot, but not okay for them having sex.
I don't know if you can call it being terrified of sex. It's I think it's that American culture thinks sex is immoral. It's not that we're frightened of it. We can't see it everywhere. We can't be a part of it. It's not that it's an accepted norm. It's just we still think it's bad.
And I think
well, it's naughty.
Yes.
well, but the ESRB
Naughty,
is
naughty,
following the
naughty,
same
naughty,
is walking down the same steps, and
Well, the ESRB is just like the MPAA ratings board, where there's no same group of people rating every video game or every movie. And as evidenced by the Kevin Smith thing, they can't even tell when the movie's been resubmitted as the same thing as before. They really don't know what they're doing half the time, and they rate capriciously a lot. So,
yeah, and there's no, and it.
Well, it's also a whole thing that because this title is Manhunt 2, might be why it got an AO rating. I mean, Rockstar definitely has to go under the microscope.
Well, do you think that's part of just the fact that, hey, it's Rockstar, we better, look over this content more carefully? I mean, if it was
Absolutely.
another so we're saying if it was another developer,
I
Would
bet
they-
it wouldn't be looked at as closely, and I bet it wouldn't be as big a deal.
you think so?
I also wouldn't be surprised if we never heard about it if it did happen, too.
So so they kind of screwed themselves. Take two
for
with
better
the
or
hot
worse,
coffee and all that.
I don't know if it's just hot
I mean,
coffee,
Rockstar.
but Grand Theft Auto is such a lightning rod.
Yeah.
It's the game where you beat hookers to death. That's the public perception of that game.
I don't see what the problem is with this.
Moving on, I have a game review here, and I'm going to talk about once again our
MOERO, NEKKETSU, Rhythm, DAMASHI, Osu, TATAKAI, OUENDAN 2.
that was really close.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
You weren't going to get to it for another 15 minutes, so
No.
I figured I'd try to say it.
Yeah, MOERO, that. See, now So this is the sequel to the Go Fight Cheer Team, Osu Tatakai Oendan, the very fierce rhythm ball, whatever the translation is. I don't want to look it up right now.
It is a really long title.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
How they fit that on the
box?
It's only like 5 kanji. It's really sad. It's just like long title, and then it's like 5-6 kanji. So I'm not going to go too much into this because if you've played Elite Beat Agents or the original Osu Tatakai Oendan, it's more of the same.
So most important thing to know, you can play the Japanese version on your USDS?
Yes, that is true. It is not region locked.
Great. Let's go on then.
Well, the only real difference is that they've actually improved a lot of the controls in it, so it's a lot easier to do the things you want to do in it. The controls in the first one were not as tight and well defined as they are in this one, and there's 17 different music tracks in this as opposed to 15 in the older version. The nice thing about this game is that you play as 2 different cheer teams, and they're both rivals, and they have like turf wars. So there's like
radio.
So there's like there's the cheer team over on the west side of town, and there's the cheer team on the east side of town. They meet up and start having
Is the cheering battle?
Is the soundtrack
going down? You.
Is the soundtrack for this by Moby and Gwen Stefani?
No, it's all Japanese.
Is it from Greece?
Is it what?
From Greece?
No.
Not
No,
just
you
a lot of music.
fail. It's not.
It's
It's not from West Side Story.
Made of East Side Girls and West Side Boys.
Precinct 5 story.
Prefecture 5 Story.
Yes.
It's made of Eastern Girls and Western Boys.
Quiet you. I'm going to get nothing but like bad musical puns for the next 5 minutes, aren't I?
Yeah.
West End Girls.
Okay, you have to stop singing the song now, otherwise we'll have to pay for it.
Hey, listen, I stuck on neck on the line with that NDA that I signed. So.
the Diehard Gamer Radio non-disclosure agreement.
Oh, the Tabula Rasa NDA.
Oh.
Which I don't know anything about the game, so I can't violate.
Yeah, it's like, how can you violate the NDA? You can't violate something you don't have.
Well,
Yeah.
Yet. But I will violate it. Mark my words.
I don't think it counts if you violate it and nobody hears you.
Well.
You violate a game in the woods. Have you really violated anything?
Where do you hide the body?
You burn
If
it.
you violate an NDA and no one was really listening to you while you did it, is it still illegal?
You hide the body in the XHTML code. Anyway, moving on. This game, like I said, more of the same. It's $39.99 at Play Asia, but it's import Japanese game. What do you want?
$29.99.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's probably worth about $24 to $29.99. I would definitely not pay full price for it because if you played the first one, it's more of the same.
Unless you absolutely loved the first one, and that's
Now,
just what you're looking for.
I really liked the first one. The second one was a mild disappointment because of the fixes in the controls. It actually made the game easier to play, and thus it wasn't as much of a challenge.
Yeah.
So they loosened up the timing a lot, is what you're saying.
Yeah, now that's just on the normal difficulty. When you get onto the hard levels, the timing's a little bit closer, but, I mean, if you have any inkling of rhythm, you should not have too many problems with this game.
I remember you saying that you absolutely sucked at rhythm games. So.
I'm getting better at them now, but that's, due to the fine lads at Nintendo that have helped me through my rhythm crisis and taught me the ways of rhythm. I now have a yellow belt in rhythm. So, moving on. Does anyone else have a review, or
got nothing?
You got nothing, Steve? John?
I haven't played jack shit. Max Payne 2 was the last game I played.
Ah.
I got Ninja Commando for my MVS.
Woohoo! Did you want to review that, or?
Can't really say much about it. It's kind of an old school.
It's a commando
forward moving
ninja
thing. It's like playing Ikari Warriors on the Neo Geo.
Except you're Ninja Commando.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fairly important detail.
It's kind of cool. You get to choose
Ikari
one
Warriors
of
guys weren't
3
ninjas.
different ninjas, and
Yeah,
they actually
next
travel
podcast-
back in time, chasing some guy through different areas of time, which is kind of a whacked script. I gotta say, the funniest thing about the game is, of course, the Neo Geo spelling. Or grammar. I should say grammar, because the sentences are just
Neo
hilarious.
Geo should just, like, get, like, spell check or something. I mean, don't they, like, have it
I
as,
don't
like, a little
think that
file
was a
they can
high-paid
just...
option or job there. I don't even think that was a job. I think they just kind of made it up as they went along.
It doesn't seem like they ever bothered to get English speakers to do those translations either.
Man, that guy looks tough and really angry. Yeah, sure, Terry. Go ahead and fight Kyo. We'll wait here. Yeah. We should do an entire podcast in SNK speak.
Yeah.
So is that it for the podcast?
That was it.
Yeah.
Kaput. Das nas.
Okay, well. Yeah, Steve, you have anything? No?
9.
Okay.
9!
All right. So that's it for Die Hard Gamer Radio. Join us again next time.
Thank you for listening to Die Hard Gamer Radio. You can visit our website at diehardgamerradio.com and iTunes, or you can email us at diehardgamerradio@gmail.com.